first time I had an experience that I was sure was an echo of another time, another place, another life, I was in a dorm room with two of my bros. I was actually only 16 at the time, and I was visiting them at a college in Asheville, North Carolina, and we were in this process of discussing reality and creation and manifestation. This was about a year, maybe a year and a half after I'd had my first deep energetic awakening and realized that I had an energy body and I was connected to all of existence through this fundamental dynamic energy field that responded to my consciousness and that I could feel in my hands, I could sense in my breath, I could feel in my connection with the earth. And by this time I'd come into an awareness that this energy that connects each of us, connects the planet, connects the plants, the animals, and all of nature together, was experienced through several fundamental field layers. A physical field layer, an emotional field layer, and a mental field layer. And we had realized that those were sort of the gateways of individual experience. We each have physical experience of the world, emotional and mental. And we were talking about how creation has the same process. When you're drawing something into being that's in your mind, you have to begin to feel it before it starts to become tangible in your body. And if you want to create a business, you want to create a project, you want to manifest something huge in your life, you first have to create this whole mental construct around it, a whole mental field, an idea form that can hold the energy for it. And then as you bring it down, you have to feel it. You have to passionately be dedicated to it. You've got to love it. You have to have gratitude for it. You have to be thankful for it. And as you do that, you create charge that allows that mental structure to come down with the charge into the physical and actually manifest into the physical world. And you also have to take physical actions. So as we were discussing this and sort of marinating on those ideas, at one moment when we realized and came to this conclusion that to create, you must link the three layers, the walls fell away. And suddenly we were in this massive crystal hall. And this bluish white light filled the space. The floor was tiled with sacred geometry. There was a pillar in the center that had a large crystal on it that we were recording these ideas into. The three of us were speaking into this crystal, and we were doing this in order to store that information for future use. We knew as soon as that had happened, as soon as we came back into the space and suddenly we're like back in the dorm room again, that we had just seen Atlantis. We were in Atlantis, and that's what it was. And we were all kind of shocked by the experience because it was so visceral and such a flashback for all three of us. But it wasn't until that night when each of us went to sleep, all three of us had the same dream, but from different perspectives. And we all dreamed of being in that same place. And what we were doing was storing away these crystals of knowledge because this tide was coming. And there were earthquakes and volcanoes happening in the poles of the planet. And there were massive tidal waves coming towards the land that we were living in and towards the city we were in. And we knew that we had to do something energetically to preserve the consciousness. We weren't afraid of dying, we weren't afraid of leaving. We just knew that we'd have to come back again and reclaim those keys to share them with people once more when the time was right.
So now's the time.
Now is the time.